Good morning, students. I am Dr. Suvarna Golanikar from Department of Anatomy, MGM Medical College, Aurangabad. Today we will discuss the implantation. So here the embryological models are kept which are taken from recent edition of the Langman's Embryology book. So we will discuss these models step by step. So what is implantation? Implantation is the penetration of the blastocyst in the endometrium. When it occurs, so it begins by 6th to 7th day after fertilization and it completes by 12th day after fertilization. What is the exact normal site of implantation? Of course, it is the posterior wall of upper part of the body of uterus. Now, which type of implantation occurs in human being? It is interstitial implantation. This is a first model of implantation. So, you can see here, this is blastocyst. What is the structure of blastocyst? It is peripheral outer cell mass, and this is blue color is inner cell mass, and the cavity is blastocele. This blastocyst is formed by 5th day after fertilization and it is covered by zona pellucida. Okay? So before implantation, it is covered by zona pellucida, which is amorphous glycoprotein coat. You know, its important function is to prevent abnormal implantation. Okay? Now, the first step of implantation is decidual reaction. So decidual reaction is basically the cellular and vascular changes which occurs in the endometrium just before implantation around 5th day. So what happens in the endometrium? There is the enlarged endometrial glands, they show sawtooth appearance, there is increased vascularity, and there is the stromal cells which gets enlarged, modified and get deposition of glycogen. And now these are called as decidual cells. So this is the first step, decidual reaction. Second step is hatching. So what is hatching? This zona pellucida surrounding this blastocyst get disintegrated around 6th day after fertilization by the release of trypsin-like enzyme by these trophoblastic cells. So this zona pellucida disintegrate and these blastocystic trophoblastic cells, they are directly exposed to endometrium. Now you know these trophoblastic cells are having the penetrating property. So when they are directly exposed, they start adhere and penetrate this uterine epithelium. Okay? So the third stage is adhesion of blastocyst to uterine epithelium followed by penetration. Okay? So this is the first model. Let's move to the second model. This is second step. So here you can see the penetration continues and blastocysts start embedding into the endometrium. You can see the enlarged endometrial glands. This is the endometrial uterine epithelium and the engorged maternal capillaries filled up with maternal blood. Now here there is one change which occur in trophoblast is the differentiation of this trophoblast into two layers. You can see here this is pink color layer which is inner cytotrophoblast. The green color layer is outer syncytiotrophoblast. The basic difference between the two layers is the cytotrophoblast is single layer, uninucleated and have mitotic figures, while syncytiotrophoblast it is multinucleated protoplasmic mass. Okay? Still they have penetrating properties, so it will penetrate in the stratum functionale. So stratum functionale of endometrium to which this penetration occurs. It will not go beyond the stratum functionale. So this is trophoblastic change which occurs approximately the 8th day. the 6th to 7th day implantation start and differentiation of trophoblastic layer occurs by 8th day. Now there are some changes occurs in embryoblast also. So what are these changes? You can see here there is inner cell mass differentiate into the bilaminar germ layer. Okay. So what do you mean by bilaminar germ layer? This is a blue color coat which is a columnar epithelium which forms the epiblastic coat. This is epiblastic layer. Yellow color is cubicle cells, they are forming hypoblastic layer. And the cavity which is formed here between the epiblast and trophoblast is the amniotic cavity, while the cavity which is formed between hypoblast and this blastocele, okay, this is forming the primary yolk sac. So these changes occur around 8th day after fertilization. Now what are the factors which are required for this penetration? And these factors are basically the release of proteolytic enzymes by trophoblast, and second is the mutual interaction between the trophoblast and the uterine epithelium. So there are few molecules like integrin which is secreted by this trophoblast, they interact with the uterine epithelium and that will enhance this penetration. So let's move to the third model. So this is next model, approximately 9th day after fertilization. You can see here the blastocyst is completely embedded and the defect of this endometrium from where the penetration occur is sealed by fibrin plug. So this is 9th day. Okay. What other changes occur in trophoblast? They are the appearance of lacunar spaces in syncytial trophoblast. You can see here these lacunar spaces, white color in the syncytial trophoblast. Okay. And these lacunar spaces, they get join with each other and form radially arranged lacuna, and in between these two lacuna the syncytial trophoblasts arrange in a column-wise manner called as trabeculae. Okay. Now what other changes occur in embryoblast? So we have seen bilaminar germ layer, yes, this is epiblast, columnar, and the hypoblast which is cubicle. Now what happens, these epiblastic cells, they get proliferate and form the amniogenic cells towards the roof of amniotic cavity. So this is how amniotic cavity is formed. The roof is formed by the amniogenic cells and floor is by epiblastic cells. At the same time, this yellow color, this hypoblastic cells also proliferate and they lie inner to this cytotrophoblast and it is forming Usher's membrane. And this is how the primary yolk sac is formed. Okay. So this is lined towards the floor by the Usher membrane and towards the roof is by the hypoblastic cells. At the same time, there is the proliferation of this cytotrophoblastic cells and they will form the extraembryonic mesoderm. So this is a 9th day, though there is complete penetration, but implantation does not complete. Implantation completes by 12th day. So what happens next? 12th day after fertilization, where the implantation almost completed. So now this, because of penetration and erosion of uterine stroma, there will be erosion of this maternal sinusoids and capillaries, so that this maternal blood will filled up in this lacuna. So now these lacunar spaces are filled up with the maternal blood due to erosion of these capillaries. And this is how there is initiation of feto-maternal circulation. And this will complete the stage of implantation. But what are the other changes which occur in the, so what happens here, this extra embryonic mesoderm shows the small cavities which appear in this mesoderm, which later on coalesce together to form a single cavity, and that is called as extra embryonic coelom, and it separates this blastocyst with trophoblast. After implantation, a proxium is completely separated, the blastocyst is completely embedded, interstitial implantation completed, the lacunas are filled up with the maternal blood. There is proliferation of this cytotrophoblast in the trabeculae. You can see here, and this is how the chorionic villi formation starts. So here the primary chorionic villi are formed at the end of second week, which is lined by outer syncytiotrophoblast and inner cytotrophoblast. Okay, so these are trophoblastic changes. Now let's move to the embryoblastic changes. So you can see here this extra embryonic coelom, it gets gradually enlarged, and this is how the extra embryonic mesoderm disappear except one place. Okay, so this is a place, you can see here this is extra embryonic coelom still remains, which is connecting the caudal end of embryo to the trophoblast, and this is called as connecting stalk. Okay, so this is connecting stalk. What other changes occur? Because this extra embryonic coelom start enlarge and enlarge, so it will pinch off the primary yolk sac, and this primary yolk sac get separated and shifted to periphery as a remnant, and this is now called as exocoelomic cyst. This is now called as exocoelomic cyst, which is a remnant of primary yolk sac. Now what happens? This hypoblastic cells again proliferate and form a new yolk sac, and this is called as secondary yolk sac. So in this stage of implantation, there is primary sac formation, there is secondary sac, primary yolk sac formation, secondary yolk sac formation, and of course amniotic cavity is also present. Now because of the coelom formation, there is the extra embryonic mesoderm divides into two layers. The outer layer is called as somatopleuric mesoderm, and inner layer is formed as the splachnopluric mesoderm. The somatopleuric mesoderm lines the inner to this cytotrophoblast as well as the amniotic cavity. Okay, while splachnopluric mesoderm lines the yolk sac. Between these two, the cavity is extra embryonic coelom, which later on forms the chorionic cavity. Okay, so this completes the stages of implant. By 6th day or 7th day after fertilization, completes by 12th day. Which type it is? It is interstitial, where it occurs by the posterior wall, upper part of body of uterus. Okay, and steps are decidual reaction, then there will be hatching, the adhesion of blastocyst, penetration and erosion of endometrium, and formation of fibrin plug. What are the trophoblastic changes? Differentiation of the trophoblastic cells into two layers, the syncytiotrophoblast and cytotrophoblast. Then there will be the lacunar stage occurs in the syncytiotrophoblast, the erosion of maternal capillaries and the filling of these lacuna by the maternal blood, and lastly the formation of primary villi. Okay, what are the embryoblastic changes? The formation of the bilaminar germ layer, formation of amniotic cavity, primary yolk sac, then formation of the extra embryonic mesoderm, extra embryonic coelom, the formation of secondary yolk sac with the exocoelomic cyst formation, which is a remnant of primary yolk sac, and differentiation of extra embryonic mesoderm into two layers, the somatopleuric and splachnopluric, and ultimately the connecting stalk formation, which is forming the future umbilical cord. So this completes the complete discussion of implantation.